Today we are doing 5.2. Write down 5.2. The title is Solving Inequalities Using Multiplication and Division. Everything is the same. The inequalities are still there. The open and closed circles are still there. All of that's the same. There's only one big important rule with multiplying and dividing. We're about to write it down. This big important rule is anytime the number you multiply or divide by, aka the number you are moving, the thing that needs to be moved away from the variable, is negative, you must, I'm capitalizing the word must, flip the inequality sign. This is the big important instructions. That's the only thing that's different. Okay, so a very, very basic problem. Number 1. Negative 12k is greater than or equal to 60. Bless you. So the negative 12 and the k, what operation are they doing when they're right next to each other? They're multiplying. So how do I get rid of it? I'm going to divide. So I'm going to divide both sides by negative 12 because we want the k by itself. So what happens on the left with the 12s and the negative signs? They cancel out, right? And I'm just left with k. What happens with 60 divided by negative 12? Does anyone know that answer? Negative 5. Now, the number I moved was negative. What did that rule say I had to do? So it was pointing towards the 60. Now what is it going to do? Point towards the k. So you're just going to flip the point so it's pointing the opposite way. Does that make sense? Now, we still check. Is our variable on the left side like we like it to be? Now, can we graph it still? All of that's still the same. The only difference is that negative sign. So we put our number in the middle, a number less than, a number greater than. Is this going to be an open or closed circle? Okay. Which way is it going to wiggle? To the left. That's not bad, right? No, it's closed circle because of that line underneath that inequality sign. We don't care that's negative. Okay. That was the first easy one. Now, number 2. Let's try this one. N divided by 6 is less than negative 8. So it's a fraction. N over 6 is less than negative 8. Remember, when I say divided by, it's always a fraction. We never write the division symbol. How do we get, Connor, the variable by itself? You multiply by 6 on both sides, right? 6 times this side and 6 times this side. What happens on the left side with the 6's? They cancel out. What's the only thing left over there? N. What do we do with the negative 8 and the 6? Actually multiply them. What's negative 8 times 6? Negative 48. What about my sign? Do I have to flip my sign? Why not? The number I moved, was that negative? No. If the number I was moving was not negative, you leave it alone. We don't care that the 8's negative. Now, is my answer have the variable on the left side? Okay, can we graph it now? Okay. Our number we have in the middle, a number less than, I'll pull a Risa. Number greater than, I'll put 0 over there. Open or close circle this time? Open. Make sure it looks open. That's why we draw them a little bigger. And it's on the line. Right, Jesse? On the line, not above the line. Which way am I drawing the wiggly line? Left again. Ready for something a little harder. Okay. What about this guy? Negative 4/3 times P is less than negative 10. What are we going to do? We're going to need a calculator for sure this time. What are we going to do to get P by itself, Risa? Okay. Are we going to have to change our inequality sign this time? Yes. Is my final answer going to be positive or negative? Positive. Is it going to be a whole number or a fraction? A fraction is correct. Do we know what the fraction is going to be? No, I think you did it wrong, sweetie. I think you typed it in wrong. Because it should be 30 over 4, which is 15 over 2. Second ABC. I think you typed in. Remember, when you divide, put this in parentheses. That might save you some struggles. You should get positive 15 over 2. Yeah. Now, for our mental abilities, 15 over 2 is what is a decimal? Just like to help us in our minds. Thought bubble. This is 7.5, right? So when we draw our number line, you put whatever you got in the middle. So I'm going to write 15 over 2 right here. A number less than and a number greater than. Don't keep using fractions. Use whole numbers. What is a whole number less than 7.5? No. Whole number. Or 7. Yeah. 6. What's a number greater than 7.5? 8. Don't keep using decimals and fractions. 1, because you cannot use decimals. 2, use whole numbers. You have to put your answer in the middle in the form it should be in, but after that, put whole numbers around. Now, if the problem starts with decimals in it, are you allowed to have decimals in your answer? Yes. Is this going to be open or closed? CJ, which way is my arrow going to go? My wiggle line. Yep. Good, good. Okay. We'll try try this one. 42 is greater than or equal to r divided by 6, and you're going to put a negative sign out front of your fraction. So it's negative the fraction, r over 6. It's still only going to be one step. It's kind of like the N1. That number is going to be a little big. I would just forget about the r. Just leave the r there. How do you get rid of the 6? And since there's a negative there, I just group this together. This is not just 6, it's negative 6. How do you get rid of r divided by negative 6? Try that out. Oh yeah, that's going to be a big number. Should be. Yep, triple digit number. First number and last number are the same number. And then graph it. And then ask yourself, remember, don't forget to ask yourself, did the number you move make you flip the sign? And also, is your variable on the left in your final answer? Because it needs to be. This one's a tricky one. This one's silly because you end up flipping it how many times? Twice. Because what am I going to do to get rid of r divided by 6 that has a negative with it? I'm going to multiply both sides by what? Yep, negative 6. So then that cancels out with that. Negative 6 times 42 is 252. What happens with my sign? Anything? Yep, I have to flip it because I multiplied by a negative, and then r's there. Is my answer written in the correct order right now? No. So I just flipped it because of the negative sign. But now I have to flip the entire equation, including the sign, because it's not in the right order. So now r and negative 252 are in the wrong order, and my sign has to have the greater than towards the r. So it ends up looking the same way it started. But you wouldn't note that right away, and that's a really crooked. Once r or whatever variable you have is on the left, you can make your number line. What number did you pick for the left? She always goes by tens. What's the number you picked for the right? We shouldn't pick 0 that time. Open or close circle? Which way is this one going? Right. So we have to pay attention to why we're flipping it. Okay? This guy should be potentially like a really easy quiz and test, right? First part of it. Just a bunch of solving them. You just have to check them. Do we feel comfortable enough to start doing some on the board? Tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to do two-step problems. And so just doing one thing, we'll have to move, add or subtract, and then multiply. Okay. Let's go over here. Push